Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How's it going?
Can't complain. Just still doing a little bit of studying and whatnot. Somebody invited me to join this show, so
Oh, I did.
Okay, that's what's up. What you study?
right now I'm doing what we call McMap. So it's like a Marine Corps martial arts program. So I'm getting my instructor certification. So
Oh, nice.
Oh man,
gotta
I'm gonna
finish.
have to link with you on that. I was just doing Muay Thai up until recently, till I
Don't
got so
worry.
busy with work.
Good. I'm gonna take some stuff from you as well too. To really be honest
Yeah,
with
man.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I love martial arts, man. So, what do you think on the topic? Did y'all hear any of the beginning dialogue when I was speaking about Brittany Renner being on Vlad TV and pretty much being buddy buddy with her mother that wasn't there, but not forgiving her father after he's been sober for 10 years?
Well, only thing I can say with that is the fact that there may be some still unresolved conflict between those two. So
Mhm.
that could be the issue. And then you also got to probably take into consideration that she was probably with the mother a little bit longer. So as much as how can I say this? As much as we may feel as though how you gonna give her more leniency compared to the father who hasn't been there at all, or at least at least I would say a lot lower
So
percentage.
apparently he's tried to reach out just as much as the mother in the same period of time when the mother started reach out, and they've had communication, but she's kind of like, "What's the point of building a relationship now?" It was kind of, and her mom came late too, but there wasn't that same logic, and they both had issues, drug problems, alcohol
Right.
problems, etc. But it's like
Understand.
when the mom wanted to come into the picture, it's almost like it's accepted because you're mom. But when dad wants to come into the picture, it's kind of like, all right, we could be cool, we could be cordial. I ain't tripping, but like, what's the point of having a relationship with you? Yeah, it's like it's not that same energy.
Well, like I said before, you gotta take into consideration how long was she with the mother before that situation deteriorated compared to how long she was with her father. So that you got to take that into consideration. You have to. Now, granted,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know it was after. I know it was after she went to college, so it was somewhat recently. She's kind of reconnected with the mother. She was
see,
raised by
there
her
you go.
grandparents, her racist white grandparents at that.
Yeah, let's not even talk about that.
Yeah, crazy,
But then,
crazy.
but then
And
at the
some people
same
say,
time,
"Oh, they can't be racist because they raised their black granddaughter." It's like, okay, that's your flesh and blood because it's your daughter's child, so you gonna kind of suspend some of that. But she said it that they were racist. They had racist sentiments. You feel me? So it's kind of like it is what it is. Like if they never had a black brown child, you know what I'm saying? It would be what it is. Their hearts might have changed a little bit because they got a half black grandchild, but
true.
I've had biracial people around me, and they talk about how their grandchild will say racist shit to them growing up and shit like that. It's like it's a pretty fucked up thing.
Yeah, that is a problem. Um, and I can't really say too much against that. So,
So we got Dale, Dow in the building.
Daff, for
Dab.
some reason, she must be camera shy.
Dab, you ain't got to get on camera. Just turn your mic on. All right, let us know when you're ready to join the conversation. But all right, so the premise of today's conversation is: do modern women love being baby mamas? It seems like they do because we got an 80% out of wedlock childbirth rate. Every woman that starts out being with the baby's daddy before the child's born, you're celebrating on Facebook, you're having a baby shower, y'all together. Then less than a year later, you got all these single mother posts online, and you all about this women empowerment and dudes ain't ish, and I can raise my child by myself. But where did daddy go? And the narrative has been for a long time that daddy's leaving, but I don't believe that narrative because I've known too many guys that wanted to be involved with their child and a child's mother and wanted to stay together, and the woman chooses to mess up the situation and wreck their own homes. And we've seen this phenomenon on Kevin's show. I don't know if you watch Kevin Samuel.
I do.
We see these women explain their situations over and over, and more times than not, I left because I wasn't happy, or the tooth fairy told me, or whatever it is not real reasons to break your home. So I feel like modern women love and adore being baby moms. How you feel?
How do I feel in regards to that? I would say with the younger generation, yeah, it's become more of a trend and more of a social, social badge of honor. But when it was come to like people like you and I growing up, it it wasn't such the case. So a
You
lot of
know,
them,
it's crazy. It's crazy that being a baby mama is seen as an honorable thing now. It's almost
it
like
is
it's the thing to do. Like
to
you're
a
not
certain
cool
degree
unless you become a baby mama and break and leave your dude and be this independent.
yeah, but
I don't
what
need no man, single woman.
because a lot of those people that do have that baby mama, whatever the case may be, mindset usually came from a single parent home themselves.
Right.
So
Right.
so it's not like it just came out of nowhere. It came from something. And let's just be honest, we have to as much as we love to say that they are, in how can I say this? Internalizing something that is supposed to be seen as the most dishonorable thing. We have to put onus on ourselves and think about like, well, there's been a lot of men that have actually caused a lot of single mother homes. Let's just keep it 100. There's one. How can I
Well,
say
okay.
this?
So when you say that, okay, yeah, there has been a lot. But what I've noticed is a phenomenon in our generation. You probably around my age. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 34.
35.
Okay, so we're around the same generation. What I've noticed is in our generation, it seemed to be more prevalent, like fathers not being in the home and possibly the fathers being the ones cheating and breaking the home. But what I've noticed is in our generation, we wanted to break that trend. We wanted to be
True.
involved because our fathers wasn't around. Majority of my friends, their fathers wasn't around growing up. But the majority of my friends now, as adults, we're all heavily involved with our children.
Right.
So that to me that correlates with wanting to be a family man, even if the woman isn't in the house with you anymore. But I've noticed that women a lot of times use children as leverage to try to get what they want or manipulate, and when they can't get it, they just leave the picture completely.
In some cases, that is true. But then there's also some other cases in which I hate using it, but there's a lot of times that it is true. But bad choices in men.
Sure.
If we even kind of do the math on it, I could be wrong, but a small portion of the men, especially black men, are really the the lion's share.
The majority of the children that make the
Yeah,
majority of children. Yeah.
that's even if you were to go ahead and adjust for married men that are making single mothers and some dudes that that are quote unquote childless, maybe actually fathers of kids out there. That's still a very high percentage of probably 30% of like black men that are actually causing about 70 to 80% of single mother homes. That's
So my question is, we put the onus on men completely for a long time.
absolutely
So what I'm kind of examining right now is what fault do the ladies have in this situation? Like, why do we seem? I guess there's this narrative that they're only picking quote unquote bad men.
sexual irresponsibility and a lack of
Okay.
and a lack of I would say self-esteem and self-worth. See, the thing is that people can be people who are very boisterous about, I know my worth. Take a look at their actions in the life that they lead and see what it's really about. Because see, anybody can loud and proud say something, and usually the more that they're loud and proud about something, the more that behind the closed doors, they're not really that way. So think about it this way.
It's like the body, quote unquote, body shaming movement.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Yeah, how many women have we known that are out here having unprotected sex or will allow a man to have unprotected sex with them?
Shit, all of them. I mean, like I don't want to say all, but like I've been with quite a few women, you know what I'm saying? And like any woman I've ever been with, 99% of the time they ain't mentioning no condom. Like I gotta be the one that mentioned it. You feel me? I gotta pull it out. But if I choose not to, it's not gonna be no thing. You know what I'm saying? I've never witnessed it one time, but even with that one time a girl said it, I kind of mentioned it beforehand. I told her to pick something up.
Yeah, and some will probably look at you like there's something legit wrong with you if you even bring up the thought of wearing protection. Some.
And you got some that are allergic to condoms. You know, those are the ones that
There's
became baby
there's
mamas in high
other
school.
things.
I'm allergic. You know, so I've had a couple try to hit me with that. Like shit, I don't know what to tell you. You gonna have to break out tonight because
Yeah.
shit. Hey, it is what it is.
And so and again, it's a self-esteem thing. If a person that holds themselves into with high esteem would not put themselves in a certain situation or feel as though that they have to go ahead and do something as reckless as that. And the thing is too, I think a lot of women are not handled. Okay, correction, are not exposed to consequences as much as men are.
Facts. So why do you think it strikes such a nerve when you use the term baby mama versus single mother for baby mamas? Like they want to leave their relationships and become baby mamas, but they don't want to have the term baby mama used. It's like it stings, but that's what it is. You want to appear. It's almost like this thing where you want to appear to be like this classy little damsel in distress, but also act like Cardi B in a lot of ways, or not even necessarily Cardi, because she's married, and for all we know, she's not cheating on a dude. But let's say a Meg Thee Stallion, or what they represent. Let's say the image that they represent. You want to be this quote unquote free, you can't control me, blah blah blah, and you don't want to have to answer nobody.
That I can't really answer. I'm not gonna sit here and make up some bullshit in regards to that. Like, why women get act allergic to the very term that they so proudly
I'm back.
Oh,
Hey, what's
Glad you
going
could
on?
join us.
Hey.
Welcome. So what's your 2 cents on what we've spoken about? Have you heard some of the dialogue that we've had so far?
A little bit, yeah. I was just listening because I didn't know women didn't like condoms. I thought it was just men who hated condoms.
No,
you'll get a nice sample size of those that are reckless with their stuff. So yeah.
Mhm. So the term baby mama, for most women, it is degrading, but at the same time, they do have children out of wedlock. So it doesn't really make sense for them to think it's degrading, but then at the same time do it.
Can you speak a little bit louder into the microphone?
Oh, you couldn't hear me?
Somewhat.
Okay, I don't have any headphones on.
No, it's good. You sound a little bit louder now.
Okay, so I was saying for a lot of women, the baby mama term is kind of degrading, but at the same time, they do have children out of wedlock. So I don't know why they're not really accepting the name baby mama.
So my thing is, why do we use so much softening language in when it comes to like irresponsibility in women? But if a man does something irresponsible, we use the most
Right.
harsh language, which is fine. Like if a dude's fat, he's fat. You know, like when I started
Yeah,
gaining too much
but
weight on my bulk, hey man, I'm getting kind of fat. You know, if a chick starts gaining too much weight on her bulk, like, hey, sure, you getting kind of fat.
men are
It's like,
direct.
whoa.
and not-
Or if I get called a baby daddy, like, hey, it is what it is. I got children, I'm a baby daddy. Even though I take care of my responsibilities, I am a single father, but I still classify as a baby daddy because I wasn't married.
You got to take
Yeah.
into consideration mindset.
exactly.
Men are more direct.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
having those harsh words is direct talk.
yeah,
More abstract. They're more indirect. They're more implied. So that's why you see a phenomenon of all these terms, and especially when you deal with people of the rainbow and alphabet community or people that are talking about those studies, you see that it is more implied and try to play the inclusive game and whatever the case may be. So you see it, the femininity, the implied stuff, the less direct, the more you get where I'm going with this. So
Right. So another thing is this, because a lot of the time when things don't work out with a man, and a man makes his best case, like, hey, I wanted to work it out with my kids' mothers. I wanted to marry my kids' mothers, but they decided they wanted to do them and break the family. It still seems to be put on the man like, or you should have did better, and you should have did everything you gotta do to keep your family. And it's like all the onus of keeping a family. Like I can't tie a bitch to the bed with fucking chains on and you know, feed her through a goddamn straw. You feel me? Like if motherfucker, like if a person want to leave, then that's what it is. You feel me? You can only make the best of a bad situation. But I feel like a lot of women believe making the best of a bad situation and being cordial with the child's father is okay, just because in society they're coddled. So it's not like back in the day where if you were a baby mama, you were kind of like, you weren't seen as an honorable woman that's supposed to be married and all this other stuff. But now it's kind of like, oh, it's all good because men are bad. I get it. Like the dudes must have been bad. Something must have been wrong with the guys. But it's like, it ain't nothing wrong with 80%. Like if there's a 80% baby mama rate, that can't be all the dudes. There's something systematically wrong in the culture to where, because if you were, for example, there's certain things in society that you just can't beat. You feel me? Like if you can't be messing with no kids, you know, you can't be beating up women, you can't be you know, beating up old ladies, you know what I'm saying? Like certain things that you, so if we and people don't tend to behave that way or want to be those things. For even people that might lean toward those directions more so, I believe they don't do it because society is like, yo, you're an outcast. So if I feel like if baby mamaism and all that stuff was more outcasted and it wasn't so widely accepted in the culture, you wouldn't have so much of it.
Well, here's the problem with that. A lot of times that when those baby mamas were outcasts, so were also the kids. And you know, there's a saying: the child that is not loved by the village will come back in turn to burn it down. So, I think that that's another thing that it's not like compared to like a pedophile or whatever the case may be, or a person that committed something that was
a bad comparison. That's like the worst of the worst. But I just
that's what I'm saying.
Picture.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, to ostracize a woman for having a child, which another thing is that with some of these situations, it's a lot more deeper than what we can and than what we actually understand, compared to like if a person that was out there molesting kids or beating up women and stuff of that nature. There's really no real excuse. But when it comes to a woman that has a child, it could be the father died. It could be that, you know, they just didn't work out. And then to ostracize that because of bad chemistry and people growing apart, with the possible effects of the child being socially ostracized, then that's when the issue is. So I think, and plus also, some of that shaming used to come from the church. But then a lot of people, especially with a quote unquote great awakening of the church, and people starting to be more boisterous about, you know, talking to the elders about their stuff. Because remember, there was a lot of finger pointing, and people used to be very judgmental back then. And then now so now this new generation is not having it. So they'll sit back and they'll tell you, like, how you gonna sit back and talk about me being a baby mother, but you and the pastor used to do some things after church and Holy Ghost and all that stuff. So a lot of the things that
hypocrisy, but there's also, I feel like there's also a overcorrection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like way over. Like we're so quick to give the benefit of the doubt when in the majority of cases, I would argue the benefit of the doubt is not valid at this point in time, because it's so socially acceptable. It's just an easy choice. It's like, yeah, things are a little tough between me and my child's father. They kind of see the light on the end of the tunnel. Get me a little check. I can go do me again. I can live my best life. Or maybe he'll take me back after I run the streets. You feel me? Like, it's kind of like, it's like, it's an easier choice to kind of go. And it's not like you're going against the grain. The culture is going to accept you. People are going to accept you with wide arms. It's like, why not? I want to do me anyway. It's just like the monkey branching thing in a normal relationship. I feel like it's viewed similarly. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm going to just do what I did before I had this child. I'm just the same me with a baby. And if a dude can't accept my baby, he's not a real man.
Yeah, that's the issue that I have.
You got dudes that go with that narrative. Oh, you're not a real man unless you accept a single baby mama because you dudes are so terrible, leaving your women, leaving your children. That's the narrative. When in the majority of cases nowadays, The women know that's the case. They know they're gonna get coddled. They know this. It's some simps out here that's gonna be like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna save you from that bad man, and then they get done the same exact way. They're like, son of a bitch, ain't this some shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, that's the thing though. Like the deception can only last but for so long, and eventually the truth will come out in regards to like what was the main reason why you are a single mother. And
people don't like to give up power, like to have that just level of just undeniable. Everybody's gonna believe what you say. That just that undeniable power to just have the benefit of the doubt like that. They're gonna go kicking and screaming, and that's why when we call out these things, you know, they talk about you hate women and all this and that, and it's like, nah, I just want a balance here, you know.
Good luck with getting that. We ain't gonna get no balance, bro. We already know how that goes.
It's a slow grind, but I think things are turning because at the end of the day, the more men are enlightened, the more men know what's up, the less options they have to manipulate, especially guys who are intelligent, guys who are goal driven, trying to make things happen in life.
Right.
I mean, we get the information nowadays.
I don't think it's necessarily the shit that really gets men more is I would say dick discipline. So they could be intelligent and all that other stuff, but you know, everybody got a hobby and everybody got a vice, and everybody has a level of temptation about themselves that they just can't resist. So
that's facts.
So it's there's always gonna be a buyer.
There will be a buyer, but it might not be the buyer that they're looking for. There will always be a buyer. I mean, in this current time, the buyers way outweigh, you know, the sellers.
Right.
You feel me? Like even with the social media validation that they perceive as real buyers, but really they're just dicks in the inbox. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely up and down. But that's part of the reason why I want to shine a light on the women who talk about these types of things as well. That's why I like having women on my channel to have open discussions on these topics and really have a real dialogue, not necessarily to be at each other's throat, but to develop some understanding and to shine a light on women who are reasonable and agree with some of the things that we speak about in these spaces. Like, okay, I can understand that, you know, it's a give and take there. And there's some things you can learn from their side sometimes. Like a man is supposed to be able to provide. I've always believed that. You know what I mean? Like ever since the caveman days when we was out there hitting mastodons, you know what I'm saying? Like you supposed to go kill the mastodon. She's supposed to be cook the mastodon, take care of the kids while you out hunting. It's just natural. You know, it's just That's how it is, naturally.
Fair enough point on that one. Fair enough point. So
yeah, man. Well, it's good chopping it up with you, man. I'm gonna end it on that note, man. I hope to see you next time, and I'm gonna be posting this probably tomorrow sometime after the editing process and whatnot. What's your name one more time?
Kev.
Kev, okay. And you got any social media you want to shout out? Instagram, YouTube?
Nah, nothing right now. Nothing right now. I'll probably hop back on it. I'll probably hop back on your show, and then I'll go ahead and shout it out. Then how about that?
All right, for sure, man. Well, I appreciate having you, man, on the show. And man, stay on your grind, man. Stay on your studies. And holler at you next time.
All right, I appreciate it. Take care. Have a good night, sir.
Later. One.
Yeah.